There are renewed calls for the restructuring of Nigeria, even as it celebrates 60 years of independence.
Some stakeholders from different parts of Nigeria have called on the federal government to quickly reach out to regional leaders and representatives to address the seeming imbalance in the current structure. They say restructuring is necessary for the nation to stay together.
But the presidency says that it will not succumb to threats or undue pressure. The presidency says it will not take any decision that is not in the interest of the nation, as it would only work with the legislature on issues of national concern. Joining us now is lawyer and social development advocate Jide Ologun. Good morning, and thank you for joining us. Our TVC News assignment editor, Asukwa James, is also in the studio. Asukwa, it's good to have you here. Good morning.
Good morning.
All right, let's have a background. I'll start with you, Jide, to this issue now. So much is being said around restructuring, but since the amalgamation of Nigeria in 1914, issues surrounding Nigeria's unity has been on the front burner, even leading up to the independence. And afterwards, we saw the Civil War. And after the Civil War, there was the issue of federal character to ensure that everybody is carried along. Let's have a background of how we got here, seeing that we had that federal character to address issues raised by the Civil War at the time.
Brilliant question. And like you mentioned, we became a protectorate in 1901. We were under the colonial masters for 59 years. Now that we have managed our affairs for 60 years, it's time to look back. And like you mentioned, the synchronizing of our unity has not been visible. And I recall that the Kano riot of 1953 also expressed the fact that we were not willing to go together. They said, no, we must remain under the colonial masters. The Southerners are saying, no, we must go. So ab initio, we did not define the concept of unity. And when you begin to look at this, something critical is the management of resources. And the greatest concern now to the stakeholders in Nigeria is that how have we managed our resources? Has the whole country benefited from the resources? I mean, at this point in time, if you look at the concept of the Constitution, for example, if you look at Section 16 of the Nigerian Constitution that's amended, that our economy should be managed in a way that we have sustainable development, provide maximum welfare and happiness for the people. Is that visible in the country now? These are the questions. And when you talk about restructuring, it is reorganizing your structure to enhance productivity and profitability. Okay, so have Nigerians profited from this government? And these are the concerns. And it's not just, it's not monolithic in nature. Various stakeholders beyond religious sentiments, economic sentiments are saying this is not where Nigeria should be at age 60 of independence. And we cannot just shy away from it. We need to be economically viable. We need to be really united. We need to see the welfare of the people projected. We need to see the fact that we are not mortgaging the future. I was reading this morning, our indebtedness profile has risen to about 34 trillion.
Okay, so let's move to Asukwa James now. Looking at all of what he has said, is restructuring the answer to the problems?
Well, it depends on the angle you want to come. But if you are looking at we restructuring everything in totality, we need to, how are we going to start? That should be the number one question, because we have a National Assembly who they will prefer to look at themselves first before Nigerians, and would also look at a government who would always, once we bring out the issue about restructuring, they will always talk about that we can't break Nigeria into parts.
The president has always said it's not negotiable.
It's not negotiable. Yeah. But if you also look at it, at this particular time, do we really need restructuring? Yes. But if all this, we are having all these challenges, what are the likely options? And the likely options is we imposing and telling the presidency or those who are around or in power to make sure that those who are based on merit, if for instance there's a position, let it be based on merit, let it be merit based. And for instance, if because we are going to talk about ethnicity here, because Nigeria is divided along ethnic lines. And just like Mr. Olugun actually said, for us to be united, we must make sure that all the ethnic groups, the frayed nerves of all ethnic groups are being possible.
Yeah, because that's the question I'm going to ask. We have over 300 ethnic groups. Can they all be satisfied?
See, let me tell you, we will try as much as possible. If we are serious, we should be able to try as much as possible.
Are we saying we haven't shown seriousness?
To assuage every ethnic group in Nigeria.
I think what is on the table now is care. Let me use this social analogy. I know that in the past, when a family has a social function, you have a central pulse. You cook for all your guests. You have just one canopy.
Absolutely.
But because of mismanagement, factions are beginning to say, no, I don't want my friends to come to this party and not eat. So let's contribute for the central cooking. Then I'll take care of my own cooking also.
For
so
my
that
friends.
in case you want to embarrass me. And obviously now, Nigeria is at that point. And when you look at marketing, you look at product life cycle, there's a time the product is doing very well. We did that when we became republic in 1963. Nigeria was doing well, prospering. Then you get to saturation. That is when you begin to do promotions, buy one, get one free. Then you begin to move towards declining. And that is what we don't want Nigeria to become. Like he brilliantly mentioned, those in the National Assembly are threatened by restructuring. Because the free money may not be there anymore. The governors also may have their powers, broken down a bit. But the restructuring call is an agitation. We are saying, look at this country. Should Nigeria be the capital of poverty?
Now, because of want of time, I want to quickly ask this question before we move on from here now. There was an Aburi Accord, the meeting, and certain recommendations were made. Before that civil war, there were agitations. Do you think that if the recommendations that were made at the time were implemented, we wouldn't find ourselves here?
Definitely, and that is a lovely one. The implementation gap is the problem. There was need for reconciliation, reconstruction, and reintegration. Have we done that? Don't we still have the elements of marginalization? And we don't have all the time. I just want to throw Nigerians up with this challenge. Go and check the core sectors of the national life of this country and ask yourself, do we have nationalistic representation?
Right.
Check the management of our resources. Ask yourself a simple question. Should we have 4 refineries that are moribund? We spend billions on them, and today we are the capital of poverty. So there are several questions. Right now we are talking about doing the revenue. So we need to look at the structure, make it more effective to deliver to the people.
But, talking about restructuring now, 2014 Confab report comes to mind. A lot of people have been agitating for the implementation of that report, but every administration that comes in stalls on doing just that. Why are we afraid?
I think it's because we are yet to come to terms with the symptoms we have in the society. The call for restructuring is because we had a structure that has been destructured, that must be restructured. And why are you restructuring? For enhanced performance. Can we say that as a people, as a nation, the governance performance has delivered prosperity to us, has delivered peace to us? Because I was monitoring the position of the Northern Elders Forum.
Yes.
And they are saying that the principal assignment of governance is to secure the people and provide welfare. And in those 2 areas, the nation has failed woefully. The question is, do we continue like this?
But the president is saying he is working with the legislature to address certain issues in the system. Isn't that the starting point? Because whichever way we look at it, the National Assembly is key to whatever restructuring we're looking at.
We agree, but you see, the presidency is using the term devolution of powers, which talks about decentralization, all right, and it can be administrative, fiscal, but we are more interested in the practical. And let me put this on the table. If, for instance, in Nigeria, we have consistent power supply, if right now we have an hospital that can treat the president, take care of the people, if today we are the third richest country in the world, if today we have 36 refineries reflecting the 36 states that we have, if today the education sector of Nigeria attracts foreigners, if today we are doing very well, who will be calling for, for restructuring?
A lot of Nigerians always say that we were on track until the military incursion and all of it, and then we picked up afterwards. We picked up afterwards. The Fourth Republic came in place. Couldn't we have picked up where we left off?
I think we did not synchronize. If you see, Nigeria became a protectorate under the colonial control in 1901. So they managed Nigeria for 59 years. We have managed for 60 years, and that's why this agitation is very prominent now. Have we learned? And right from inception, the coming together of Nigeria did not give a concrete unity. And if you permit me to be scriptural, Amos 3:3 says, can two walk together except they be agreed? And the problem now is that more Nigerians are feeling marginalized.
Did our founding fathers make the effort? Because some have also accused them of not
Our founding fathers also, I love history, I've done some deep research, we're not speaking with the same voice. Earlier today, I made mention of the 1953 Kano riot. It was based on the fact that this group wants to leave, to go away from colonial control. This group says, no, we must remain under colonial control. And eventually we left without defining how we were going to relate. So it goes beyond making promises.
Okay. So
many of us are sad that with the huge resources we have in this country, the country is poor. And if you see, to now compound the poverty, the rising pace of criminality in this country is worrisome. And the democracy started in Athens in Greece as the government of the people, by the people, and for the people. And what is being said now is that let the people determine, listen to the people. Right. What do we want? You don't throw things at the people. It's not as if people are calling for division of the country. That may be difficult, like you mentioned, because already we have a structure. But can we look at the products of the structure? Can we say now that Nigeria at regional level have equal opportunity? You look at Section 17 of our Constitution, you look at Section 16, even you look at the motto of this country. It says unity and faith. That means without unity there cannot be faith. Peace and progress. Without peace there cannot be progress. So it's not a call for a total break-up. But can we look at how things are done, and the government can carry the people and not the people carrying the government? Through taxation and everything, that we are the ones carrying the government. No.
Okay, we have to end the conversation here now, because it is obvious there's so much to talk about with regards to this. Jide Ologun, thank you so much for speaking with us.
God bless Nigeria.